Hey guys, welcome back to some more Kirby Super Star. It's time to go to space.
Go to the one place where communists can't ever find me. Space!
Why is my precious rocket ship drifting off into space?
Oh my gosh. Oh, hi, Marks. Speaking of communism.
I mean, you're not wrong. You are not wrong with what this guy wants to really do.
Speaking of communism, hi, Marks.
Corrupted by space communism.
I loved how perfect that was. Oh my god.
I was picking up what you were putting down, Matt.
Oh my god.
Okay, this went off the rails fast. I don't want to live on this planet anymore. Get me off.
Oh, I forgot. Oh, you know what I love about Kirby Superstar, the original, is how effortlessly some of the cutscenes transition into the title screen. Like, I love how they do it for Great Cave Offensive, and I especially love how they do it there for Milky Way Wishes.
Oh yeah, they're very clean transitions.
Yes, it is an aesthetic that you lose in the DS version, but I feel like the DS version makes the cutscenes more cohesive overall, so it's a forgivable change. But oh damn, I love how good it is though. It's delightful.
I think if I remember correctly, this is the planet that I missed in my first playthrough of Ultra, because I didn't know this was a little. I wasn't a very good Kirby player, and going exploring the tiny little dot.
I mean, to be fair, not much really tells you that this is a planet. The only really clue you have on the map is that this one star is slightly bigger than the rest, so it's a little suspicious, and that's it. So it's easy to miss.
It's incredibly hard to find it in the SNES version because unlike the DS version on the bottom screen will pull up a reticle of missing copy abilities and the planet's name when you mouse over it.
Yeah.
And in the DS version, when you do that for Tax Star, it actually pops up the question marks.
Yeah, it kind of makes it easy in that version for that reason.
Oh, but again, you've got to mouse over it, so if you just see it as being a part of the background, you wouldn't know to, so...
Wait, what?
Yeah, so we should probably talk about the gimmick of this whole mode. So, this mode in general, you can't absorb power-ups anymore, because now, the only way you can get powers is through a power-up item slot. But that's why I went to that Star Planet first, because it gives you Copy. And Copy basically restores the Kirby element to this mode in Kirby. And because of that, you can also get certain powers that you're not normally able to get from inhaling enemies, like Scarfies give you Crash.
I didn't know Scarfy gives you Crash. That's really interesting.
Yeah, if you use Copy on them, it'll give you Crash, but you can't suck them up normally. This is why a lot of people don't realize that they technically give you something.
Yeah, this is the only means by which you can ever get a copy ability from Scarfy, and I think because Copy is only in Superstar, we never see any kind of affiliation to that again, which is... yeah, nice little charm that Milky Way Wishes has.
I want to think that the ability Copy, because if you really think about it, is the most redundant ability to have.
Yeah. Well, that's why they removed it for later games, because I think the real reason why Copy was here is, for one, the helper, Tack, because Copy is not that useful for Kirby by himself, but for Tack it's really useful. And then, too, this mode in general. Because since you can inhale enemies to get powers now, Copy pretty much adds that back in. So it gives it a purpose.
You know what's sad? I'm only piecing this together now. And of course you went for this planet first so you could get Plasma.
I mean, I can't actually unlock Plasma for a little while, but because I have Copy... broken.
Yes. That's right, because doesn't it also revert Kirby back to normal at the end of each stage from memory?
No, you get to keep your power. The cutscene there reverts Kirby back to normal, but then when you start another stage, you keep your power.
Because of the dance, that's right.
Yeah, the dance always show Kirby basic at that point. They never really have a power in his dance.
I have to keep reminding myself that one recurring theme in Kirby games is that if you jump in a cannon, or you get a warp star, or you get invincible candy, it still changes the status icon, even though it means you haven't necessarily lost your copy ability.
Yeah, Kirby does that a lot, where they'll change the status icon, but you keep the power you have.
Ow!
Like when you get hurt.
Indeed. Ouch is my favorite copy ability.
I love ouch.
I have that copy ability every day.
Yeah. Who wants to do an ouch only run of Kirby?
You might die.
I have a sneaking suspicion.
All right, this is my speed run, my world record speed run of ouch, Kirby Super Star ouch percent.
Oh, I thought you were just gonna say in real life, like, here's my speedrun of ouch, and you just kick a table. See, world record. Now I can't feel my foot.
That was quick.
So I just kind of want to bring up that cannon we passed in the previous room. We're never using it. Don't worry about it. It doesn't have anything important. It's just there for extra food and one-ups and such. It's an optional area. As a kid, that always bugged me, because I'm always coming here without a fire attribute power first. And that cannon always taunts you, thinking, hey, there could be a power lock behind that, because they do that later. But I have to be kind of conscious about what powers I use, because when you collect a new power to add to your arsenal via the power-up drops, that will change your power immediately, and that's the only way you unlock these powers. So you're forced to drop your powers when you get a new one. But at least the nice thing about this mode is that even if I lose my power, it's not that big of a deal if I haven't a lot, because now I can just press a simple button and change my power at will. This mode is really good to experiment around with powers, because there's no risk of losing them.
Absolutely.
Get it back as soon as you can.
This is by far my favorite mode in Kirby Super Star for this reason.
I have a feeling that, everybody wanted, when Amazing Mirror came out, and that's a common complaint I see with Amazing Mirror, is just like, everybody's like, oh, well, it's trying to be a Metroidvania by not being a Metroidvania when you really think about it, because, the copy abilities, you need to have a certain button, therefore you have to backtrack and get certain things. You're not really, like, getting new powers to go to new areas and stuff like that, like what a true Metroidvania game is. And I said, well, if they took what they did in Milky Way Wishes and kind of applied it to that game, I feel like it would have been kind of what you wanted.
Yeah, I think that is the biggest problem with Amazing Mirror, mainly when it comes to 100% sake, because if you're just trying to beat the game, it isn't as big of a deal. But if you're trying to get everything, yeah, it's kind of a pain to lose your power and have to backtrack to an area to get a new one.
I love Amazing Mirror.
Oh yeah,
I love Amazing Mirror too much. I have a really soft spot for Amazing Mirror, so mainly because it was like one of the first few Kirby games I really played. So
Fatty Whale died from guarding.
Yeah, I didn't even know that was a thing until this playthrough, so get elbowed.
Get elbowed.
I will say the one thing with Amazing Mirror that always still baffles me is it doesn't have mirror ability in it.
Yeah.
It has
wasted opportunity right there, don't you think?
Yeah.
Yeah, but I really do think that game could have gotten that Metroidvania vibe if they just did what they did with Milky Way Wishes here in that game. Like, if you unlocked fire in another place, you could go and do the cannon stuff in another place to get to a new area. You know what I mean?
That's the main thing with Amazing Mirror is Amazing Mirror has the Metroidvania aspect of backtracking and re-exploring old areas with new abilities in hand, whereas with Milky Way Wishes, you can do the whole thing in one run.
Yeah.
And that's where it's a double-edged sword, meeting that requirement, because it both is and isn't, and in some respects, Amazing Mirror is more, but also is less.
Yeah. It's more or less the structure of both things, really, because the structure of Amazing Mirror was supposed to be the more open-ended thing, but the fact that it kind of locks you out in a lot of areas when you don't have the right power, that closes up a bit. Meanwhile, with this is completely open to what world you explore, but that really doesn't mean much. It's just a level select. But with the powers, then you can change up some of your routes, and it could change some stuff, but it still feels pretty linear. So, on both regards, they have pluses and minuses.
We didn't really even talk about the story of this freaking mode.
Yeah, the story's the weird part about this, because the sun and the moon hate each other.
Yeah, the moon and Mr. Shine and Mr. Bright are kind of fighting again, so...
Now, there are a handful of enemies in this mode you can still get a power from. Crash is one of the abilities you can still get for just absorbing it. Same for Cook. You can also get that. And I believe Mike as well.
Yeah, all of the one-time use ones tend to be the ones that they are still giving you access to, which is nice.
Also, I will say, out of all the bosses in this mode, Krakow's the easiest because the invincibility candy's just right next to the boss fight.
And you get Crash right there, and you're already taking off, like, what, half his HP whenever you use it, so...
Yeah, so the fact you can use whatever power you want at an instant, you have invincibility going into the fight, and you can use Crash immediately because it's at his doorstep. I don't think Krakow really has much of a chance.
No. I don't think so either.
Considering how much more of a threat he was in Dreamland 2 is a bit of a shame.
Yeah, that's true. That is true. Nice to have a break.
That's one thing. Couple of the Kirby games I need to play is the Dreamland games. Well, I played Dreamland 1, but I haven't played Dreamland 2 or 3, so...
The nice thing really right now is the fact that Switch Online has Dreamland 3 on it.
Yeah.
And in some respects, Dreamland 3 is basically, like, for lack of discrediting one or the other, Dreamland 2 and 3 have a lot of similar themes. So I guess at that point it's mostly down to personal preference of do you want to play all of them or do you want to just get a feel for what those two are like?
Yeah, I will say it is nice that the Switch Online has a rewind feature for those kind of games because Dreamland 3 has some really stupid one-time things for 100%'s sake. It's kind of a tedious game to 100% with certain minigames.
You doing okay over there, Wheelie? No?
Nope.
Yeah, I got a flat tire. And too bad AAA doesn't work in space.
He should have gone into the emergency lane, but instead he went into the lava.
Yeah, that's like when you try to get into the pull-off lane, but instead the pull-off lane, you miss, and then you fall down into a pit. You kind of fell into the pit.
Bugsy was just sitting there, just like, I'm just standing here, you keep running into me.
Man, that makes my job easier.
Puffball comes along and starts hitting me with a sword. What is this?
Now, I'm not gonna lie. As a kid, I know he doesn't have a tail, but it always looked like when Kirby did the suplex attack, it looked like he was just wagging his tail at someone. I'm like, where did this tail come from? Why does he want to shake his booty?
Wait until Squeak Squad when he gets animal.
Oh, true.
Yeah, then it's actually accurate.
I do have that in the recording backlog at the moment, so look forward to that probably before the end of the year.
I need to actually play Squeak Squad. There's a bunch of Kirby games I haven't played yet, and I still need to. Because it's by far, like, you know, Kirby's one of the franchises I know for sure. One of my favorites, so...
Yeah, I can agree there. Like, basically every Kirby game I play has something really memorable about it.
Absolutely. Like, I know it was a couple months back, come to think of it now, but I think the last time I solidly sat down with a Kirby game and went straight through start to finish, I was with Blowout Blast on 3DS, and yes, that was a deluxe version of a sub-game from Robobot, but I still really enjoyed it.
I mean, it was a pretty packed sub-game.
Yeah, I really liked, you know, all the Kirby spin-offs. Even, like, the stuff on the 3DS. Like, they experimented a lot with Kirby on the 3DS. They really did.
Yeah.
And even the little sub games, I had a lot of fun with those. Like, I remember the true like 3D Kirby game that was more of a puzzle game more than anything. But I forget what Blowout Blast. Yeah. I had fun with that one.
I mean, you're talking to someone here who consciously bought Fighters Deluxe and enjoyed it and I cleared it with every copy ability.